Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dead Mall Walking. Sometimes we fall in love with something before we know exactly what it is. It gives us a feeling that we've never quite felt before, but once we do, we can't imagine it ever not being there. This is something close to how I feel about St John's Centre in Leeds. The mall was opened in 1985 and named for St John the Evangelist, who has a church devoted to him out back that we'll see later. And although this place is hanging on, there was a time when St John's was thriving. It once housed relevant brands like Topshop, Dorothy Perkins, T-Mobile and Virgin. But as those brands have disappeared, it seems like St John's has struggled to find suitable replacements. I first visited this place maybe 10 or 15 years ago, long before a man named Dan Bell picked up a camera and started documenting dead malls in the US. It was the first dead mall I ever visited, and as we all know, it wouldn't be the last. Although memory is a funny thing, because I can only assume that this place would have been much more lively back then than it is today. But somehow, I can't seem to remember it any other way. The sad and quiet corner we're coming up on now was once home to Jumbo Records, which was once named one of the UK's best record shops in The Guardian. Here it is in its heyday. It even played host to live music performances on Record Store Day. These days, Jumbo Records has moved across the road to the Merrion Centre, another dead mall in Leeds I'll be showcasing soon. And this corner is now home to an Amazon pickup point. Small off-street malls like this are very common in the UK, with most cities having at least one or two. And there's something I've wanted to touch on this channel for a while now. When people talk about the British High Street, often preceded by the death of or the struggles of, they're talking as much about places like this one as they are about places like this. You can see here how these malls often function as shortcuts, used by people who are just cutting through them. This often makes them feel livelier than they actually are. And take this Taco Bell here, which is one of just 29 in the UK. It's technically part of the centre, but doesn't always have its internal door open. I put St John's occupancy around the 50 to 70% mark of what it could be, but it's hard to really get a feel for the true figure. The security in here was pretty tight, with guards wandering around throughout, which makes me think that maybe there's been some issues here in the past. That idea is backed up by the fact that you have to pay to use the toilets and baby changing facilities, which is often designed to deter drug use. There's something about this ramp that we're walking down now. Maybe it's the fact that, like something out of an MC Escher painting, it takes almost a minute to descend a vertical height of about 6 feet. Maybe it's the stark contrast between the 80s marble and the historic church, built in the 1600s, that stands outside. Or it could be that it feels more like the liminal space of a municipal building than a retail environment. All I know is that I see this ramp in my dreams sometimes. I feel the same way about it that I do about standing outside the former Macy's and watching Tri-County Mall stretch endlessly ahead of me, or sitting under the deflated fish in Cincinnati Mall's nautical food court. These experiences speak to me in a way that most places and people can't, which probably sounds crazy to anyone outside of dead mall culture, but hey, I'm hoping that this is a safe space, like the enclosed marble corridor we just walked through. St John's isn't the largest dead mall in Leeds, and it isn't even the oldest. I'll be visiting some of the others in a future video and looking at how Trinity Leeds, shown here, changed the retail landscape in the city when it opened in 2013. The HMV on the right here, a similar store to Tower Records or a Sam Goody, opened in 2019 after its previous Leeds city centre store closed down. Right now it feels as if it's doing a lot of work in here, and seems like a de facto anchor. The brand has already gone into administration twice, in 2013 and 2018. But if this store ever closes, I'd have some real concerns about the future of St John's Centre. But despite being open for close to 40 years, this place is still hanging on. I wanted to give this spot some attention because of my own personal relationship with it. So I guess you could call this video a love letter to what I think is the first stone mall I ever encountered in the wild. After I was done filming, I sat down on the happy bench, good luck to any non-Brits, maybe even non-Yorkshire folks trying to translate this, and lost myself in the past for a little while. Thank you for checking out this video and coming on this little nostalgia trip with me. If you enjoyed it, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing, or maybe supporting the channel on Patreon to help me fund future road trips. My Instagram, along with all those other links, can be found in the description below. Until next time, goodbye from St John's Centre.